So what's your name?
Oh, Charlotte.
Charlotte? How do you spell that?
CHARLOTTE.
Who are you guys with?
We're students at Parsons. We're doing a project on the High Line, so we're gathering information, basically. So, do you live in New York?
Yes, I do.
You do? Okay.
I actually
Do you live
in
in this neighborhood?
I do.
You do? Okay.
I live on 14th between 8th and 9th. So, yes.
Okay. That's great because we're actually, I mean, we want to get people that are like near.
Okay.
Hi there. Do you have any questions?
So how long have you seen this transition from
Oh, the area?
the park, basically? Yeah.
Yeah, I started volunteering with them in like 2008, 2009. And so I started volunteering with Friends of the High Line before they started into an opening.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that all right? Thank you. So.
Okay, cool. So what do you think was like the intention of making it?
Oh, making it into a park?
Yeah.
I don't believe when the two guys first started Friends of the High Line that they actually had that intention. It was more that they saw this as an interesting piece of New York history. This is a structure that's been around since, it was built between 1929 and 1934, and it's served a really major function back in the day for New York.
Right.
So providing all, servicing all the factories and warehouses and stuff. So I think they just wanted to save it. Yeah, because at the time, it was, they met at a community board meeting, and at the time there was a demolition order put in place for the park and stuff. And they thought there was another organization out there that was fighting to save it, and they found out that there wasn't.
Wow.
So they started it.
Right. So it wasn't originally a park. Was not their mission.
It wasn't. I don't think they had that in mind when they first did it. It wasn't their vision. It was more they just wanted, to save this interesting structure that because they're both neighborhood residents too. So they have, they've seen it. They've lived in this neighborhood, so they always knew about this structure. They just,
sure.
didn't want to see it just torn down.
Very interesting.
And and one of the things that they did was that they got in touch with this fellow named Joel Sternfeld, who is a local photographer, and they commissioned him to come up and take photographs of the High Line. This is basically pictures of the High Line taken back in 2000. So it's basically like a year after they, founded Friends of the High Line and stuff. And he took it in all 4 seasons. But it's one of those, when you look at these pictures, you see that most people didn't know that this was happening up here. Because it was private property, nobody was really coming up here. I mean, some people trespassed up here, but most people didn't. So they saw it from the street level, which didn't look very pretty. It was kind of an eyesore. But nobody saw that there was this, incredible wildscape growing up here, and that nature had basically come back and reclaimed, the structure.
Yeah. Was it, so I guess it was not very easily accessible before this.
Yeah, no, I think if you walked it, in section 2 especially, it goes in between buildings, just a lot closer to the buildings. So I can imagine people climbed out into the fire escapes and then climbed onto the High Line. But in general, I get the feeling I don't think it was accessible to the main public.
Right, yeah.
I don't think people...
On the street.
And then I also don't think people really even knew about it because it was, the last train ran out here in 1980. And so also people, just kind of back in the day, people forgotten about it, type of thing. So,
awesome.
But yeah, I don't think it was their intention in the beginning to turn it into a park.
Right.
But I think once you sort of see these pictures, you kind of get the idea that it could be a really good park.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And of course, New York needs as much green space as possible.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
no, for sure.
You already know about it?
No, I don't.
Oh.
So,
Are you selling this right here, right now?
There's some other questions that maybe more related to you.
Oh, really?
Okay.
So how often do you come to the High Line?
Since I volunteer, I come here when it's sort of the volunteer season type of thing. I come here pretty much every weekend.
Yeah, well.
I do a shift every weekend, both Saturday and Sunday.
That's cool. How long are the shifts?
2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah.
And there should be another one of these in there.
Okay, I'll look for it.
Then do you come here at the same time?
Yeah, that's right.
Like it's peak hours? The best time to be here?
It's more you can just pick whichever time you want to come here. I've heard that Sundays the peak hours are a little bit earlier than Saturdays, for example. Though
besides right here.
Right. I'm trying to think. I mean, I think it's all pretty cool and unique.
Yeah.
You know, there's different. You know, you have different spots for different reasons.
Yeah.
And stuff like obviously the sun deck where the water feature is really nice during the summertime when it's hot and and you want to you can take off your shoes and just wade in the water.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
But then there are other sections. Sometimes this part is also near Chelsea Market, right there, and there's this. You can see between the buildings, and there's this sort of like this between 5 and 7. There's this golden orange hue that comes across the buildings, and it's really lovely then. So, or sometimes you see the big ships that pass by, usually around Sunday around 4:20 p.m.
Really?
So it's nice. I mean, it gives you a different perspective.
Yeah.
Being up here.
Yeah. So what do you think the relationship with the art community around here is to the Highline? Is there a relationship? Do they work with each other?
Oh, I think
events and things?
Oh yeah, I think actually it's a really good relationship.
Yeah.
I want to say that when this project even first started, when Josh and Robert first founded Friends of the Highline, some of their biggest supporters were the arts community.
Right.
With all the arts happening in the West 20s and whatnot, they were really big supporters of the Highline, trying to help it and make it happen. And now, given that we also on the Highline, we have a public art program and stuff where we have, these pieces that are up here, usually temporary. Well, they're usually up here for a year and stuff, but it's nice.
Right, yeah.
I mean, we have a piece right there.
Right, yeah.
That's happening.
No, that's amazing. It's funny because if you take a picture zoomed in, and you're just looking at the pictures, and it doesn't look you keep zooming out, and you're like, what?
Right, so it's also nice that you're just, I mean, technically that's not on the Highline, but it's nice to be able to engage in the space around the Highline.
Yeah, okay, interesting.
Because there's also art pieces that have been on rooftops, nearby rooftops, so it's actually not on the Highline itself. So I think it's a lot about changing your perspective and changing how you look at the city too, and trying to gauge it to looking at different things. Sort of the change of perspective just 30 feet up versus being on street level.
The first section opened, and now this new section just opened in June.
Awesome. I think that's it.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Good luck for your
Appreciate
project.
it. Okay.
No problem.
Great.
It's been open